Hey, everybody, and welcome back again to another episode of the Wish You Were Beer Show. This is a live beer review show that we do every week where we try different beers. We talk a little bit about the breweries involved, a little bit about the taste of the beer, the style of the beer, maybe even some history of the beer or history of the brewery. So thank you for stopping by. If you are into beer or have anybody that you know of that's into beer, this is a great place to swing through every Thursday and follow along with us. So make sure that you do us a favor and like and subscribe here to the YouTube page. That does wonders for us. But also, as you can see in the About section, we have a litany of different social medias. TikTok, Twitter, Instagram is probably where we spend most of our time. We do have our own website as well, which is just wishyouwerebeershow.com. That's got all of our past episodes, all of our upcoming scheduled episodes. It's got a great merch site on it where we've got all of our shirts, hats, stickers, really anything you
Fanny
can
packs.
want. Fanny packs. I'll put a logo on anything.
You want it? We got it.
That's
or if
right.
we don't, we'll make it.
I'll make it, unless it's not something I'm comfortable making, and then I will refer you to a different show.
True.
That being said, we really appreciate everybody that stops by with any regularity. As always, I'm Daniel. This is Tiffany. That's Phil. And I do say as always, but sometimes I just maybe get fucked up and fall asleep and won't do the show. So sometimes it goes really.
I don't remember this. Did you do this recently?
You know what's funny is I also don't remember it. That's the
attempted
real kicker.
To wake you up so many times, and you argued with me
Yes.
so hard.
So I will be the first to apologize to not only Tiffany and Phil for letting them down there on the show, but really want to say thank you to Wheelie Pop that stopped by, even though the show was not done as smoothly or streamlined as it normally is. We were traveling. We were not working on our current setup.
Our camera died halfway through.
One of us had been drinking all day.
All of us have been drinking. I was also not 100% there. We had been drinking since.
You know, what can people expect from people who do a beer show? You know,
I mean,
every now and then.
I think every now and again, if this show is just not a train wreck, like, do we even drink? You know what I mean? Like, yeah, great. We're having this water beer.
What are we even doing? Yeah.
Honestly, that's a question I ask myself every day.
I really think we maybe should try and do those episodes when we don't have guests.
This is fair.
Yeah.
This is fair.
Yeah.
Although, you know what? The beautiful thing, though, is that it created a wonderful beer shirt for the last week's episode.
Oh, we do have a shirt for last week's episode.
Yeah.
If this is your first time watching us, we try to pull something out of every single episode and make a shirt for it.
Yeah.
Mainly just so our merch site looks like it's just outrageous. Like we've been doing this for 28 years. Which if you watch last week's episode,
with a bunch of weird shirts no one gets if you've never watched the show.
My favorite. So let's see what last week's shirt entails.
I think this is gonna be a fan favorite.
Oh, that makes good sense.
Yeah. The struggle was real.
Just our technical difficulties Bitmoji shirt.
Yeah. If you could have somehow put me in the bed saying "Don't panic," it'd have been great. Don't panic. I'll be up in a little bit. I'm just taking a quick 5.
He's like,
You
I'm not.
have the blanket on you. You just sleep. Don't panic. I'll be there.
I love it.
And I think Tiffany and I only panicked during that show. So.
Yeah. Well, it wasn't a good start when we got the guest on, and then within 5 minutes of being on, our camera shut down completely. So the guest is just there by himself on the screen
on a live show.
And he was like, oh, no.
Oh, God, I love it.
You know, based on all the comments I've received after that show, they're saying it's our best show. So we may not need you, Daniel.
They are liars.
Those are actually just all my burner accounts.
It's all the Dars.
That's right. So, Phil, you're looking quite angelic over there. You are once again traveling, correct?
I am, yeah. I am back in St. Martin, which means that this show could have a lot of more technical difficulties because I'm on an island in the Caribbean.
This is true, but at least everyone's involved now, so hopefully any one of us could potentially carry it if things go awry, correct?
In theory.
In theory, correct, yeah.
Good.
We'll see.
I like these odds.
I'm sure we're going to find out soon.
Well, and I guess we should talk about why this episode is going to be slightly different.
Because I'm taller?
Well, that too.
Oh.
No, because of the technical difficulties and the fact that I refuse to do this show alone. I am very scarred. Daniel will be out of town actually for the night this is being aired. And so Phil was kind enough to film a pre-recorded episode here. So,
yes.
Because he could have cut out in the middle of a live show and it really would have just been me. And
I mean, I was probably pretty close.
you probably would have just done it on purpose, just to be like, yeah, let's see what happens.
But yeah, if you are watching and commenting and we're not commenting on your comments, that's why.
Carry the 7. Yes, that is.
A lot of commenting on comments, but comments are not being commented on.
Equals no commentary from us.
No comments.
All right.
But don't let that stop you. Keep them coming.
Honestly, whenever we've done very few pre-recorded shows, and in the off chance, like literally all of us are going to be in a place where it doesn't work out, we'll do one here or there, or some holidays where we should be with family drinking beer, not with the internet drinking beer. And I always kind of hope somewhere in my heart that it's the most commented on show, and they know it's pre-recorded, so they're just over there talking to each other and not even paying a lick of attention because it's not going to get dragged on the screen.
Well, I feel like that's a lot of our shows anyway, where like the comment section is just a bunch of people that know each other, hanging out, chatting. It's like a Yahoo chat room. Boy, and then we're just
way to date yourself there. Yeah, catch up with me on Yahoo Chats. It's where I play my fantasy football.
She's asking Jeeves a few questions.
Ask Jeeves has come up probably 5 times in the past month from either one of us as well, somewhere.
It definitely has.
It's my favorite reference.
Yes, it is. So,
but we are back from our trip. We were all together just only a few days ago.
Yeah, I was gonna say that. So we all traveled together, which is outrageous and weird.
Yeah, we could have all been on the same show together.
Yeah, that would have been crazy though.
Yeah, that would have been really cool.
Yeah, all 3 of us would have cut out, and the guest still would have been alone because the camera died.
Yeah, but
so it really doesn't matter.
At least we would have had each other.
Yeah.
I think I'm still recovering from that weekend of all of us together. I don't think I've left this apartment since, and my company here is getting really concerned.
Yeah,
it's St. Martin. You should be outside.
Yeah.
This is the first beer I've had. Since then, and I literally just opened this because I was like, it feels weird not to have a beer in my hand while doing the show, but it's like a really light Oktoberfest, so it's like a 4.5%, so it's just basically brown water. So I feel okay with that.
Yeah, and if you haven't been keeping up with us or you haven't been keeping up on social media, we do have a collaboration in the works that's going to be up and coming in the next good lord. Like week almost. Yeah. So
the party will be a week from tomorrow when this airs.
Correct. Yeah. So we brewed a beer with Tripping Animals down in Florida, and Taylor and her girlfriend Christian from Knuckle Bump Farms were kind enough to come collaborate with us as well. So we got to spend the day down at Tripping Animals brewing beer and hanging out with Knuckle Bump Farms basically, which was crazy.
It was awesome. I had a blast.
I mean, we all had way too much fun.
Yeah, which is the same day we were supposed to be filming. So
yeah. Again, carry the 7. It all equals up. Everyone should have known I was going to bed that day, but that's fine.
You're not wrong. When we got to the brewery around 10 and you were like, all right, let's start. I was like, okay, we should have been like, we have a show to do tonight. Let's be adults.
Nope,
I said that around 11 on my second beer, and then I was like, so nobody else agreed. Okay, fine. That's fine.
I don't think you said it out loud.
Oh, God damn it, you're right. That's probably what it was.
Yeah. So that's probably where Phil and I were like, we'll be fine. And we were.
We were great. Well, y'all were great. Y'all did great.
No, we weren't, but we were.
we were
there.
Yeah, we were there. So we are going to be, if you keep up with our TikTok and with our Instagram, I think we have one of the first promotional videos that's going to be coming out for it here very soon. And then Phil is going to be in St. Martin, but Tiffany and I will actually be back down in Florida for the release party, which is the 21st. So next Friday.
Yep. So we fly out on the 20th.
Yeah.
So we will do a show from wherever we are there, I guess.
We can, or we can pre-record that as well. But y'all do whatever you want.
I think if we've learned anything, it's we shouldn't shoot a show at one of those days.
I mean,
well, no,
we'll just be traveling
that'll be
all
the travel day.
Yeah, I'm not going to drink that much in an airport. Nobody does that. We should pre-record that show.
Bob says otherwise.
Bob, my boy. He's already reached out to me multiple times.
I don't think so. I don't think he knows how.
No, he doesn't.
He was very worried that he kept calling himself, and it was actually his wife.
It was his wife.
His home.
We got delayed on the flight home, so we were in the airport much longer than we should have been, and we stopped at a brewery right near the airport under the idea of like, great, hopefully we're only in the airport
ditch a
for
couple
like
extra
5
beers
minutes.
That we brought.
Yeah. So we get to the airport, it's delayed, so we're having a beer there at the airport bar, and everyone in the same terminal obviously is pretty much in the same flight and all in the same boat, so everybody's drinking heavy. And this sweet old man was a great guy, and we just had a great conversation.
He's a Vietnam War vet who not only had seen some shit, but he also just didn't give a shit, and he was fantastic.
Some of my favorite characters.
Yeah, there was a couple moments where I was like, did he just say that? Because I'm for it. But yeah, it was a good time.
But yeah, definitely keep up on our social medias because, like I said, we've got a lot more information coming out about it as soon as we finish with everybody in the collaboration putting the package together so that we can get it all out on the internet platforms that be.
Yeah, we collaborate on the beer and collaborate on the socials.
Yep.
Yeah, I really did. I had a joy going through all the video footage from that day to make that 1-minute promo, about 20 hours of filming.
I love it.
And I love the last about 6 clips where I don't even remember shooting them. So
I do remember being on that roundabout thing. And
I've got some videos of that.
Trying to jump onto that.
Yeah. Let's just say we got a lot of TikToks.
Yeah. As soon as we are actually done with the full collaboration promotional material, we got a lot of footage that's going to come out, and that's going to be fantastic.
Good luck out there.
And then we're going to make everyone regret collaborating with us.
Correct.
Yeah, it'll never happen.
Because we're tagging all of them.
Yeah.
Every time.
That's our plan.
Personal and businesses. Both accounts.
Oh, Lord.
Well,
we don't get together.
Into something.
Yeah, we don't get together once a week just to reminisce over just seeing each other 3 days ago. We could. That's fine. We can do the whole show that way.
But yeah, let's talk about what we're doing today.
Yeah, let's do a beer today as well. Which I think. Do you have the can, Phil?
I don't have it on me. I was going to get it during that 5-second clip.
Tiffany does.
I have it. We are doing Trap Door Brewing, and it is Brimley, and it is an oat cream IPA.
Nice.
I'm a big fan of this can.
I like the can, and I'm actually more excited for an oat IPA because that's a style you don't see a whole lot of, or at least near us. I think we've maybe had 1 or 2 of them.
Yeah.
So I'd be interested to see how creamy it is.
Well, we've got a video clip, I think.
Do we have a video clip?
Yes.
Yeah. So we have a video clip of Trap Door out of Washington. So when we get back, we'll get into this beer.
Let's do it.
Sounds great. Let's do it.
All right, so I thought Vancouver was in Canada. Call me crazy. I'm not a big, as if you've seen any of our episodes, geographically speaking, I'm not well studied or well versed in that.
You know it's not in Baja, California.
Well, Baja is in
Baja. Is that Daniel Dar or is that Daniel Carr? I can't
tell. It's all me, boo.
We've been planning this for like an hour.
30 seconds is a long time to get this size of a shirt on.
I love being able to see what's going on when that's happening. And I was just like, oh no.
Out of where I thought the camera could see, but I was like, nah, it'll be fine. It'll still be good.
Well, I'm wearing these little shorty shorts, and I was like, whoop, gotta sneak out.
For those of you who have not been following our socials while we were together this weekend, we decided that while we made a random trip to Key West, we were going to buy each other some shirts. This is
the other people got to pick the shirts for the other person, and we had to
Yes.
wear them the whole time we were down there.
Yes, this is the shirt that was chosen for Daniel.
Phil picked me out a baby's small, not even a child's small.
Look, you look great.
I tell you, I feel great. My arms are a little numb, but I feel great.
You got a little like McConaughey Dazed and Confused thing going on, like tight shirt. Looks great.
Boy, if I was standing around outside of a gas station in this, I'd pick up so many unwanted visitors. Anyway, Phil, I thought you'd just enjoy this shirt.
I love it because now you have to wear it the rest of the episode, which makes me happy.
Oh, I knew that going in. I put Band-Aids on my nipples. I greased myself so I could get it over my head.
Well, we got to get into this beer.
Yes. Which means we need to talk about it through some history and facts. And
We can. So, for those of you who may be unfamiliar with the show, the history and facts section is really just our favorite sound clip, but it basically is just trivia. So normally on a not pre-recorded show, if you were logged into YouTube or Facebook or Twitter, I think works too. Doesn't Twitter work too?
No. Twitter, only Facebook and YouTube can you comment along and we'll see it, but not tonight.
Yeah, well, yeah, true story.
Not tonight.
So feel free to answer the questions. We'll get back to you.
You'll find out if you're right or wrong.
We'll reach out individually to each one of you. If you leave your social security number in the comment section, we'll find you in the next week or so and reach out to you and give you the correct answers. That being said, we're going to play a little bit of trivia. So Tiffany put together some trivia in regards to sometimes the brewery, sometimes the style of the beer, sometimes the area that the brewery is in, some of the history of that. Phil and I do not know the answers, so Phil and I basically are going to play each other in trivia tonight, which is going to go great because we historically don't do well.
No,
not
at all.
Oh, God, no.
And if I win, you're sending me that shirt.
I tried to give it to you before we left. You thought it was my underwear, though, and you gave it back. That's how small his shirt is.
All right. True or false? Trap Door Brewing has won 8 beer medals.
I mean, if it's for can art, I'm going with probably.
I think it has to do with the beer itself.
Oh, okay.
I mean, here's the only thing that I can go off of is the photo in the promo. If you were watching, there was 4 beers with 4 medals.
Right.
But I don't know how old that photo is.
Yeah, I was changing shirts, so I missed that one.
I was watching
theater quick change. I actually cut a seam down the back of the Telluride shirt. Tiffany spun it off of me in like a second, and then I threw this one on. So if there was 4 in the picture, 4 beers, 4 medals.
I'm kind of thinking they could have maybe won more.
Yeah. I'll say true in this situation. Just because I feel like to overshoot it kind of seems like a jerk move again on trivia. Like they won 8 beer medals, and then like, psych, 1. They only won 1.
But they're not here tonight, so that's where we could actually play that game.
That's true. That's true.
I'm going to go with false here. I think that maybe the 4 in the photo are the 4 and that's it.
Okay. Well, luckily Tiffany has researched this, or maybe, and gives us kind of a true false answer.
I have researched
it, perfect.
And I do know the answer, and it is true.
It is.
Yes.
1-0, Phil.
Damn.
On their website, actually on their homepage, you can scroll down, and they got their different awards. So they've got 3 different golds, 3 different silvers, and then 2 bronze awards.
And where are the medals? Are they like the statewide ones? Are they GABF?
So they're
the OK American Beer Fest.
God, I love that
So
festival though.
There's the Washington Beer Awards, and then there's the Craft Beer Awards.
Okay, cool.
So
Yeah, so none of them
I mean,
like our area does a battle of beers of
Yeah.
757, and they give out awards for that as
a lot
well.
of the 757 breweries, but it's definitely not competing against.
Right, like a
other-
national or a statewide, you know.
Yeah.
So that's good though. So
Yeah.
with the Washington State one and the Craft Beer Awards are,
Yep.
are pretty large scale as well.
Yeah.
So
So
good
8
on you.
8 different awards. So
Well done, Brimley.
very impressive.
All right, 1-0.
It's 1-0 me.
Yes.
I wasn't
Alright.
going to announce that.
I know.
Prior to starting Trap Door Brewing, what is something the owners did not do?
Did not do.
Yes. So A, renewable energy engineer, which I spelled wrong.
Yes, you did.
B, Great American Malting Company employee. Or C, college chemistry professor.
Well, they're obviously not a renewable energy engineer.
And
Is that a word?
It means engineer, but it's
But it's a
it's a
suffix.
mini engineer. It's when you're like not quite one. You're just an engineer.
it's the foreign word.
Yes. So this is prior to starting the brewing,
Mhm.
or the brewery, something they didn't do.
Yes.
I think it would be really fun if they didn't work for the malting company in some capacity. Like, great chemistry professor, engineer, like most of them that we find out, you know, and then it didn't work anywhere in the beer industry prior to this. Like, yeah, malting company, schmalting company. So I'm going to say B. I think they didn't work with the malting company before starting this.
I'm gonna go with renewable energy engineer.
Okay.
Because it's really just speaking to me. And I think that normally we always find that like brewers were engineers prior. So I kind of feel like this question is to kind of trick us into thinking, well, obviously they were an engineer.
Right. No, I'm comfortable with that as well. But
Yeah.
I think you're wrong, and I think it's about to be 2-0 because it's B.
It is not.
Oh, son of a bitch.
It's actually, you're both wrong.
C.
Oh,
Neither one of these nerds were college chemistry professors.
Nope.
Oh.
So, the owner was a renewable energy engineer, and he quit his job after almost 25 years to start the brewery, and he actually went in with his kids. So one of his kids is the head brewer, and the other one's the silent owner.
Okay.
And then they also have a friend who
He
went
can't
in.
talk.
Yeah.
That's a trap.
I took me a minute to like figure out what you had just said. And then they went in with one other partner who's a friend, and he's the general manager. But the family that started it, their family for 4 different generations worked at that great like Washington malting company.
Not only was I wrong,
Great
I was
American
way
Malting.
wrong. Everyone worked there.
Yeah, so like his grandpa and his dad both retired out of there, and then during the summers while he was getting his engineering degree, he actually worked there as like an intern and stuff. So
Nice.
like he was like, when he went to go be the renewable energy engineer, he was like the first one that had been out of the beer business in like 4 different generations. And anyway, so his kid actually went to UC Davis, who has a really like phenomenal beer brewing program. And
Okay.
so he actually graduated there. So
Nice.
so very
That's pretty
cool,
cool.
very cool, like family business. I love that not only are they like they get a lot of their stuff locally, like from the Pacific Northwest stuff and that Great American Milling
Vancouver region.
Malt, the Great American Malting Company. But they also get like all their hops and stuff from local farms. So very cool.
I'm really sad that no one, when I was younger, said, "Hey, you can go to college to make beer."
I don't think that was a thing when we went to college, Phil.
No,
How old
I
are you?
do. I'm 22. No one told me this.
I just think that it wasn't on my radar as something that you could even do as a profession.
Right. Yeah.
Like-
I think that's accurate. Like other than like your huge, large scale manufacturer, like Budweiser or something like that.
Well, like, you know,
And
I
even then, you just saw it as like where would I go to like be someone who makes soda?
Right. We'd go to Pepsi or Coke. I mean, that makes sense.
But like you're not
we
really like because the only beers, all the beers that we saw back when we were kids were the same beers.
Right.
There wasn't new things coming out, so you never thought to, you just saw your dad drinking whatever you could get now at a gas
What the
station.
hell makes them forget about your mom?
Yeah, so there wasn't really a thought process of like, oh, I have to study to like learn how to make this and learn how to make varieties and learn, like, wasn't even on the radar.
Yeah, that's where we differ. I mean, we always had like Sierra Nevada and stuff, and they always have done a bunch of different things. So normally we would have like.
So why didn't you go to beer school?
That's what I'm saying. It's like I didn't even like it didn't even like cross my mind as something that you could do. I was like, I'm gonna be an airline pilot, and then I was like, I'm just gonna work my
pilot.
Yeah.
That was your dream?
I mean, I flew a plane at 16 before I drove a car at 16.
Just so you could tell everyone at the Fort Lauderdale airport that their flight has been delayed another 40 minutes. That was your dream?
I told them if it was a single engine prop plane, I had their back, but we were really gonna have to cut down on some weight.
Mm-hmm. I love it.
But yeah.
How many of these questions do we have?
We have 5.
5. So that was
2.
2, and it's
That's
1 to nothing.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm really I wasn't worried about drinking the beer. I'm just keeping score.
This next one's short. Let's just do it really fast, then we can.
And then we'll crack open the beer.
Yeah.
All right.
All right. True or false? Trap Door Brewing doubled their available space to brew with the opening of their new second location.
This one's a tricky one because I know they have a second location, but did they double their available brewing space? Or is it just a satellite location? They're still brewing at their original space and just shipping beer to a location that gives other people the opportunity to find them. I think, yeah.
I'm wondering about this trickery here with the doubled their available space.
Right.
Like,
yeah, they halved it. Is that a thing? It got smaller.
I'm just wondering if they did. They have a second space. We know that, but yeah. They double their available space.
Yeah, I think that's
also in this as well. Is it exactly double? Did they literally build another location that is exact? How specific are we with this double word?
Well, I mean, with the doubling of their available space to brew, I would assume we're talking about amount of barrels that you can brew. So they have a 15-barrel system they're working on, and they put another 15-barrel system exactly the same in their new one because that's what everybody knows how to work with, and that's what everybody's working on already. That being said, I think it would be true because if you're going to double your space or try to make a larger space, the whole idea is to get your beer out there. So if you don't add additional space to brew in so that you can start doing maybe experimental stuff locally and then packaging stuff for larger scale distribution, I think you kind of have to double your available space for brewing if you're going to make a second location, unless you just open in a pizza kitchen, but start a pizza chain. So I'm going to say true.
I'm going to go true on this as well because I know that they have a second location. So I'm going to go off. That's more information than I normally know with trivia. So
okay.
I'm going true on this as well.
Okay.
All right. Well, you're both wrong again.
Still 1-0.
Phil, you should have just gone the opposite of Daniel because then you either would have been right or wrong.
Yeah, but I still got a few more questions to catch up. So,
so just for some background, they opened their second in Washougal, Washington, which is like another kind of like quaint town that like is kind of like really up and coming. And they actually opened in another location that used to be 2 different breweries. It used to be Amnesia Brewing and then Logsdon Farmhouse Ales.
They forgot about one of them, though.
No, so they both moved or went under or whatever. I don't know. I didn't really look into it too much.
Just an Amnesia joke.
But
continue.
They went. So their current location in Vancouver is a 15-barrel, and which that produces about 1,000 barrels of beer annually. This new building is 6,500 square feet. And it'll actually quintuple their brewing capacity over the next 5 years based on just space alone.
Yep.
So they are super excited not only to be a part of this like revival of this downtown like old mining town, I'm assuming, because that's how everything is out there. But it's also like a 100-year-old building. Like it's super cool.
Nice.
And it's going to be an amazing space. And they do have a kitchen there too. So
okay. Now, when you say double their space, though, so again, if they're working on
quintuple, that's what it says.
I'm talking about the original question. So the idea, though, is that they enlarged, or they took over a much larger space.
Correct.
And now can house more beer, or are they brewing by the quintuplets or whatever of beer in that new location?
6,500 square foot building, which served as the home of Amnesia Brewing from 2013 to 2017 and Logsdon Farmhouse Ales
change your tone a
from
little bit. I can understand
2018 to 2021, will allow Trap Door Brewing to quintuple its brewing capacity over the next 5 years.
Brewing capacity over the next 5 years. So they can put in a bigger system over the course of the next 5 years, potentially. Or they could.
You're wrong, Daniel. That's just all you need to get at.
No, I know I'm wrong.
Oh, okay.
I'm just trying to think through it because quintupling or whatever the fuck that is on a 15-barrel system is an international system. You are brewing to distribute to 20 countries. You're Anheuser-Busch at that point.
Don't think it's
Like you're brewing on a 90-barrel system, not a 15-barrel system, and you're brewing a few times on it to make 90 barrels. That's huge. I'm gonna do some research. I'm gonna get back to y'all again. Leave your social security numbers. I'll be happy to get you the final result of me rambling to myself, trying to figure out what math just happened on this fact.
I was so tempted to play one of our clips, but the awkward silence made me so happy.
It's even better. Yeah. Sometimes a good pause really shuts down a production, which is nice. All right, wait. We can crack this beer now. So this is typically the portion of the show where we're far enough through trivia that we're going to go ahead and crack this beer, pour it so we can start to get a full flavor profile on it as we continue to go through trivia. And again, tonight we are doing Brimley from Trap Door Brewing, and it is an oat cream IPA. Phil, what's that cup?
I found a stein.
Take it with you from where you're at and keep it the entire time you're down there.
No, he's there for the full year. Well, that's the place.
I'm here. So
right.
If you remember from the last time I was here, I didn't have any good glasses. So when I got here, I looked into the cupboard, and these were the only glasses I had. And I was like, it's not bad. It's just not great. And then tonight,
a Pilsner Kolsch glass.
I went to the store tonight and I found this just like all by itself. Like literally when I got it, they went to the register and they went, price? Like no one has bought this glass ever. I don't even know if they were. I don't even think they were selling it. I think someone left it in there.
Yeah, exactly.
But I was like, I gotta get it.
They charge you for it. Did they just give it to you?
I have no idea. I don't look at the receipts.
You're in St. Martin, so we don't know how ruples translate.
Yeah, I gave him a few rocks.
Some shells.
Some shrimp I had collected.
You take sea urchins.
Right.
All right. An oat cream IPA contains what percentage of oats?
Oh, I don't know this answer.
10%, 15%, or 20 or more.
Is it on the can?
I don't think so. I didn't look at the can, but I assume it's not.
Damn it.
Because it's a part of their recipe.
Yeah. So this oat cream,
No,
not just anyone.
Overall, oat cream IPA.
So is this the minimum amount of oats that need to be in an oat cream, or is it?
Let's go with the average oat cream IPA contains what percentage of oats?
Averagely speaking.
Yes.
Average being 4 inches.
Average both of you.
Oh, 100%. Well, I'm going to cut it right down the middle because 10, 15, and 20 are pretty close. So I'm just going to say B out of pure ignorance and a guess.
I'm going to just go with A.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Any reason you just...
Because I think there's always these like little things where it's like, in order to call it this, it has to have this much. And I always find that the number is lower than I would have expected.
I gotcha. Yeah.
Because you think like oat cream ale, like it's going to have a lot of oats. But it's like, you end up finding out it's like, they threw in a few oats.
I mean, I'm getting a lot
Just
of
a
oats.
couple.
I'm getting a lot of oat.
A couple oats.
Yeah.
Or in one of those instant packets
cereal box of
oatmeal. All right. So it's actually over 20%. And I'm let me go through all of the stuff here. So
it's still 1-0.
This is actually
I got one more chance.
A much more like in-depth answer because I thought it was really interesting. So we have done I just missed the name altogether. Where did we do this beer? And now I can't remember it.
Probably on the show.
I know, but it's one of the barrels who's so mad at me.
I'll put this up there. We can learn this. They source 90% of their ingredients. Some of those must be oats locally, which is nice.
Who's Scholl?
Scholl, I think it's the name of the brewer. Sorry.
Oh, okay.
Okay, that makes sense.
Scholl. Sorry, I had other things I never got to.
Okay. Well, anyway, so I read this whole thing about oat cream IPAs and where they came about. So back in the day when it was just West Coast and New England, the West Coast IPAs, they predominantly use a 2-row base malt. And so like when you look at like the wheat, there's just 2 rows.
Right.
And that's not as bready as Pilsner malt. And it's not as malty as pale ale malt. And so you add just a little bit of like crystal malt, typically 2 to 5% to the grain bill, and then another 2 to 5% of the wheat malt to like increase the foam. And that's your West Coast IPA. The base recipe for a New England IPA, which has that hazier, a little bit more of like the hop aroma and flavor still, and it's also a little bit softer, is 70% base malt, 10% flaked oats, 10% wheat malt, and 10% caramel malt, and then they whirlpool the hops and let them drown. Anyway, it doesn't matter. But so those ones, to get that kind of like creamy or hazy thing, they use 10%. It's other half. That's who I was thinking of.
Correct.
Other half went a step further and decided that instead of just doing the New England IPAs, they were going to start doing oat cream IPAs to really create that like really soft mouthful feel and like kind of up the New England IPA style a little bit more. So they did that by increasing the oats, and they actually have a grain bill that morphed into an average 60% malt base, 35% oats, and then the like remaining 5% was actually the wheat malt, crystal malt, and lactose.
With crystal malt.
2% of the lactose, which is this one has lactose in it.
Yeah, 100%.
So anyway, this oat bill, this oat part of the grain bill is a 2-to-1 ratio of rolled oats and oat malt. So they actually tried to go all the way up to 50% malt, but it was like such a wash that they couldn't really tell. So they keep it at about 35%. And so they're one of the breweries that does the most. So 35% is kind of like the top for them.
Okay.
But most, like even home brewers will say like 20% is about where you want to be.
Gotcha.
So yeah, I was like, when I first saw it, I was like, oh, okay. It's like oat cream IPA. Like I know that the oats are usually like they stick a little bit more.
Yes.
And so they're a little harder to use. So I was like, it can't possibly be very much. But they surprisingly use a lot. So just it's amazing to me to think of like how maybe it like gets like gummy when they're like
just
doing
oatmeal. Yeah.
But anyway, oat cream IPAs can make pale ales. IPAs are double IPAs, so a 5, 7, or 9% respectively, depending on what kind of beer you're trying to make.
Yep.
So super interesting. I know we're out of time, or we're getting close. So
we are. So let's get into the next question.
This one's fast.
Okay. This is the deal breaker.
This beer is an ode to Wilford Brimley, the Quaker Oats ambassador.
God, this has to be true based off the can art, right?
It's true.
It has to be true.
It is true.
Yeah.
2-to-1.
It's his foam-covered beer.
Well, I guess you get to keep the shirt.
I can't think of another situation where I'll ever wear this shirt again other than this moment right now.
I'm pretty sure you're going to wear that almost every week, at least once.
At least on the weekends.
Well, now that we've talked about it,
we should
review it.
Yeah.
We should review it. I think that sounds. All right. So, for those of you who are unfamiliar with the show, this is now the portion of the show where we're going to take a few minutes to actually review the beer. So, we use Untapped to review the beer, which, if you're not familiar with that, it is a social media drinking app, basically, that allows you to store all the beers you've ever had, where you had them at, who you were with, and give them a rating of 1 to 5 bottle caps.
Yes.
So, tonight, again, we are reviewing Brimley from Trap Door Brewing, and it's an oat cream IPA, which is interesting.
And he's got diabetes.
Well, I mean, 6 more of them I might. No. So I'll go first real quick and just get mine out of the way. I like the oat cream stuff in general. It does tend to be quite a bit smoother. Creates a whole different mouthfeel, especially with a little bit of lactose in it. So like on the front end of it, I felt like I got a lot of like a New England or like a hazy. Like I felt like it had all those same effects, and after like 2 additional sips, all of a sudden it got really smooth. It got much creamier, like it's like oatmeal coating the entirety of my mouth, and not like in a weird way, like if that makes sense. Sure. Like normally, like, you know, you eat oatmeal or something and it's like, oh, it's everywhere. Like you said, it gums everything up or sticks to everything. Okay. It's almost gives you that same like coating mouthfeel without all the negative ideas of it.
It's much cleaner.
Yeah, 100%. It's just much smoother.
Yeah. It's like cloud-like.
Now that being said, from an IPA standpoint, I don't know how to compare it to like another oat IPA.
I would put this more in the realm of a New England IPA.
Yeah, I think so as well.
If you're so we rate our beers against the style that it's in. So with the oat cream IPA being a variant of the New England IPA, you could rate it against those ones.
Well, if I'm
give it like a little more of like a fair rating.
If I'm going to do that, then in the grand scheme of things, if I'm rating it against a New England, like a pure New England versus this, I probably like this a little bit better just because it is a little bit smoother. I don't get nearly as much of some of the hot burn that you start to get from a lot of the really crazy hazies. So it's a 4 for me easily. I like this beer.
Yeah. In a very similar vein, I do like this one. It is still piney enough to be an IPA and still get that slight bitter flavor to it, but it is really soft. I'm going to give it a 4.25.
Nice. I do like that they give us a little scale on here about the bitter, hoppy, and then wholesome.
Yeah.
You got to have that wholesome.
Yeah. I love that wholesome is like it's a General Mills like cereal comment. Like it's wholesome.
Yeah.
I know. Exactly.
It's good for your heart. Maybe.
I'm a big fan of this. I would almost say it's, you know, when you see a beer on the menu and it's like a creamsicle beer and you're like, oh, that's you want it to be a creamsicle, but then when you actually like taste it, you're like, oh, that is too much creamsicle.
Yes.
This is almost tastes like a creamsicle. Like it's because it's got the citrusy. It's like a New England, what you were saying, where it's like a little citrusy, but then the cream kind of brings in that creaminess. So it's like a really light creamsicle type beer, like a drinkable creamsicle beer.
Okay.
Yeah, I can see that.
Okay.
I think the lactose, it really helps cut that. And I normally am not a huge fan of lactose in beer, but if you're going to give me something called an oat cream ale, or IPA, sorry, an oat cream IPA, then like it better be creamy. So I think putting in that lactose was like brilliant. And it provides what I'm reading on a can, which I always enjoy.
For sure.
Because sometimes I get a cream ale or something and you're like, oh, that's not a cream ale, it's a cream ale. And it's just weird. I don't know if you've experienced that. Where like you're thinking in your head it's going to be this like creamy beer, but it's not. This one to me, it has that. So that makes me happy. I'm going to give it a 4.25 as well.
Nice.
Perfect.
Which is going to give us the show score of 4.25.
Yeah.
Which is fantastic. Yeah. This is a great beer. I dig it.
Yeah. I'm really enjoying this.
Cool. Well, we've got one more section of things to do on this show.
I mean, we technically have like 3 more if we want to, but we are. Time is a fact.
Unless you're going to take a long time on this third section, let's just quickly go through some untaps.
Okay. Yes, that's my favorite. I actually don't want to take any time on the Wish You Were Beer one.
I can make it fast.
Spend time on that.
So this portion of the show is when we go through a brewer's favorite thing, Untapped. They always talk about how much they love it. It's their favorite thing in the world. So we like to draw attention to it here on the show by finding out what people on Untapped thought of this beer and seeing if we're kind of on the same page. Let's see what we got here.
Beat-us.
Of course.
Perfect.
You and Jared are in the same vein, minus the score.
What game are they playing, by the way?
That's obviously some type of Minecraft like Dungeons and Dragons.
Ah, that makes
I have
sense.
no idea what that is.
All right, Beat-Us.
Beat-Us.
Now, this is my jam.
Oat.
Oh,
Super
jam.
Juicy. Trap Door slaps.
Slaps in the
fast,
face, man. Slapping the face.
Go buy this. Let that boat coat your throat. I feel like I did not read this, and
No, you read that terribly. However, I do like that he spent so much time making all these references and doing it somewhat well, but just didn't take any time on actual grammar. So
yeah,
go should be, you know.
That's what I'm. This is one of my favorite Untapped things so far. I think.
I'm okay with this.
Next time you make Philly cheesesteak, make it with garlic bread. You're welcome.
Great.
I mean, that's a solid PSA.
I mean, I'm for it, but it has nothing to do with the beer. The beer's
Nope.
barely in it.
Nope.
No one cares about your review, Beer B.
Nope, I care. This was a good PSA, and I appreciate it.
Heck yeah.
The only thing I don't appreciate about this is drinking this beer with a Philly cheesesteak.
Yeah. No.
Does not go.
No.
Like let me rinse my mouth out from the Philly cheesesteak with this oat cream IPA.
Plus, if you've ever been to Philly, the only thing that goes good with a Philly cheesesteak is obviously a bar fight.
Correct.
And it's like some Bud Light.
No.
Yeah.
There's a lot of good beer in Philly. But
I know, but like I want to taste.
But you're not in Philly unless you get in a bar.
Yeah, but I want to taste the cheesesteak. I don't want to taste like whatever beer I'm drinking at the moment. Okay.
I think we drink differently.
A Vancouver beer for a toast to Brian Caldwell, R.I.P. AJ's climbing coach and coworker, a longtime fixture at the Source Climbing Center. Brian tragically passed yesterday in a climbing accident. An amazing human. That's very sad.
That is a sad review. It's always great when somebody, takes a moment in any capacity. However, 4.75?
Yep.
Not 5. So Brian was great, but the beer to honor him is...
It's pretty close.
Sorry, it's not going to work.
How many 5s have you in beer?
We've made 2 beers, so 5.
True.
Carry the 7.
Well, R.I.P. to Brian.
Yeah.
That sucks.
Yeah, I hope Brian's family got a chance to get one of these beers because it comes highly rated from one of their best friends.
Jonathan.
All right.
Not a 5, though.
It's not a 5. No. Good Lord. If me and Brian were having it together, it'd be a 5. But, herein lies the issue.
Well, get excited because we have 12 minutes left.
Okay.
For this last section.
So we're going to roll through it.
So we should probably start it soon.
Yeah, let's talk about
what I wish was actually beer.
Correct.
There you go.
So for those of you who may not know the show, again, this is a portion where we take a second just to reflect on something that we wish was beer versus what it actually is. Varies week to week. Typically for Tiffany, it's work and politics. For Phil, it's, I don't know, grinder or tender. And then for me, I don't really care. I hate ladders. All right. So Tiffany, why don't you go first?
Sure. I wish, and I've used this before, I know, but I wish when all 3 of us are together, I wish that was beer because I have beer on a very regular basis. Yeah. And I freaking love hanging out with you, Phil. Like, I have so much fun with the 3 of us. It was a blast this weekend. That's my wish.
I wish that wasn't beer. No. Okay. No, yes, I fully agree with you. I had such a blast with the 2 of you, and we don't get to do it often. And I know we talked about how much we had to we were going to work on the show and all that. And we were just like, let's just keep it.
Yeah, let's just hang out.
So don't expect anything new from the show for another year
except that I'll be on it.
Yeah.
If last week was your first episode, this is a very new episode for you.
Plus, that shirt is really kicking.
Boy, she's getting uncomfortable. All right.
I wish that Rain in the Caribbean was beer because I would have so much beer these past 2 days. It is the end of hurricane season here in St. Martin, and so the weather's just been cloudy and rainy, which is not what you want in the Caribbean. But I will say, from someone who just came from 4 days in freaking Florida with the two of you, I'm very happy to have 2 days where I don't feel like I need to go out or do anything.
Yeah. So that's pretty nice.
I don't get out much, Phil.
So I was very happy to spend the last 2 nights just going to bed early and not having a beer since then until this one.
Well, and I can appreciate.
No, that's a lie. I had a breakfast beer at the airport.
Okay, fair.
It was free. I was in the,
Oh, you're in the lounge.
The travel zone.
Yeah, I was in the lounge. If there's free beer, I'm going to drink it no matter how sick I am.
True story.
Daniel, close it out, or with your wish you were beer.
Yeah, this one's pretty easy. I wish clothing optional bars were beer. Because then every time Tiffany goes to get a beer, somebody wouldn't cover their ass. That's all.
Let's not explain that one. Just inside joke for everyone. No.
Nope. I'm also going to explain another portion of it too, because we went to a clothing optional bar in Key West.
We were the weirdos that decided to wear clothes at a clothing optional bar.
And my favorite was about halfway through us being there, a woman got up from the bar who was maybe potentially partially unclothed, but come to find out she couldn't really see her outfit. It was a blind woman at a clothing optional bar. So she got up from the bar, turned around with a walking stick, and was blind. I didn't know if I needed, I wanted to go ask her, here, do you want to touch me so you can see what's happening here?
You were clothed.
It doesn't matter.
I think she would have known.
Just be nice to be touched.
Oh, no. Well, I was touched while we were there.
You know what though? I'm actually very impressed by her. She's blind. She's at a clothing optional bar. She danced. She had a blast. We were just standing there like losers, clothed.
Oh no! I was 100% taking pictures.
Taking pictures there. I was dancing, and then I got groped by a lady.
Yes, you did.
That is true.
So I had a blast until that happened.
So pretty much that's your standard Key West visit.
That's always my thing. I honestly just wish Key West was a beer though, for real, because I could go to Key West every day and be just fine.
Yeah, the rest of us can't handle that with our livers. I got an IV the next morning.
Tiffany got
an IV.
A
lot more beer, so
correct. But she got the IV first.
Yeah, drunk Tiffany was looking out for next morning, Tiffany, and scheduled an IV appointment for the next morning at 9:30.
And I went by Sloppy Joe's and got a frozen rum runner to drop her off at the IV appointment.
Yes.
Again, different lifestyles.
Yeah, some of us just can't hang. It's me.
Well, you know what? We have another beer to do again next week.
Yeah.
What are we doing next week? That's actually a surprise to me.
So next week, we are doing a beer out of Brooklyn, New York. Going back to New York.
I love it.
It's called Windrush. It's from Wild East Brewing. I have the can here and everything.
Yeah.
Oh, it's a fun can.
So this is a smoked lager with jerk spice.
I'm going with jerk spice.
And it's in collaboration with Kicks and Kegs.
Interesting.
So we'll see what their collaboration is all about before our collaboration.
Yeah, rude. They should have known we were doing one, but that's fine. I guess we'll drink their beer.
Have you had a beer with jerk spice in it before?
I don't think so.
Yeah, I sweat a lot, so sometimes it drops in the can.
You know what I kind of am wondering if this is going to be similar to is, this is a long time ago. We did the pastrami on rye beer.
Oh, yeah.
I liked that one. It wasn't smoky. It wasn't.
Yeah, I'm kind of wondering if we're going to get that, but probably more smoked.
I'm fine with the smoked beer as long as it's done well. If it's just campfire smoke, it's too much. But if it's offset, so they're basically using the jerk spice to probably offset some of the actual smoked aspect of it. So it'll be interesting. I'm looking forward to it because one of y'all is gonna hate it. 100%.
I'm thinking I might. I'm not normally a smoked beer fan.
Smoked beers either, but we'll see.
But I'm interested with this jerk spice because I make a lot of jerk spice, and I'm interested to see what this one tastes like.
We've seen you sweat. We were in Key West together.
Is that a masturbation joke?
No, never.
Oh,
It's a Brimley joke. It's a Brimley joke.
Brimley. It's a Brimley joke.
Diabetes.
Yeah, so like Tiffany was just alluding to, make sure you join us next week. Join us every Thursday at 8 p.m. Eastern Time, which is where we do this show. Follow along on all the social medias. Like I said, we have a lot of things coming up. Next week's going to be a lot of fun. The collaboration that we have coming up with Trippin' Animals and Knuckle Bump Farms is going to be a blast. The beer is going to be stellar. So if you're not already following us on Instagram, Twitter, or TikTok, or checking out our website, then you are going to miss potentially some really fun content that is going to be astronomically good.
It's amazing. All of it is amazing.
Yes. But other than that, I'll shut up. Phil, let your angelic ass talk for a few minutes.
You just closed it out so well, and now you're making me close it out also?
Yes.
You literally said everything. What am I supposed to do at this point?
Just click the button.
Like and subscribe.
There it is. What is this, last Thursday?